Now, the funny part is I have a Chilton book back there, okay? And the Chilton book goes to the point of taking them off. And then it says, take the lower control arms to a professional. And then it says, once you've received them from the professional, this is how you put them back on.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Dave. Huh? Sounds like a M1 Grand. Bling!
Yeah, take the ping out of it. Watch your face goes outside.
Yeah. Bling! I'm telling you, it's like 8 button pulls and it goes bling! That's so funny.
What are those called? Bangalores? Bangalore?
No, they're not called Bangalores. They're
Bangalore. Close to torpedo.
N blocks.
Yeah, M blocks. I've got some of them running torpedo. Look at there.
Because they go 1, 2, 3, 4, bling.
Yeah. Okay. This is the same process for the uppers and the lowers. We're going to grease these up with axle grease, right? And we're basically just going to find a sleeve that fits nicely under the lip. You cannot hammer on the rubber. You got to use the lip. And we're going to use this, that's a spacer, or the, yeah, we're going to use this as a spacer underneath on the vise here. And we're basically just going to drift them into place. And then we'll take the shafts, grease them inside and out. The bushings also, use axle grease on them, but also grease them so you don't want them to squeak. And then we'll set them in place, and we'll set second one. I'll set up the camera and show you what we're going to do. Okay, first one we're just pressing it in a vise. We're using a sleeve so it has enough space so it doesn't hit, and we're just using the vise to press it in. You need a cheater bar or something? So we're just going nice slow just to seat it. This is the first one because we still have to put the shaft in from the other side here, put that in, and then figure out a way to put the second one in place. Is it hard?
That's once it, like, you'll feel it, it'll be smooth. Like there'll be tension behind it, so you'll have to put some force, but it'll go to like stop. And it'll like go to an abrupt fucking stop.
Well, that's because you're on the lip. The press. Yeah. So what do you want to do?
Take it off.
It's not in.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. That's all the way in.
Okay. All right. I got it.
That's my motivator. Oh, put it down.
And flat plate.
Oh. Here you go, a little more.
Hold on. No, I think you're right. Let me check. You got a flashlight? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. No, you're right.
All right, very well.
Yep. Okay, see, there's a lip on them, and it'll stop where it needs to go. And that's the first one done. Okay, and the most important part about this is that they don't go all the way in. There's a lip, and it'll stop, and so your spacing is correctly for A-arms. Okay, we are starting the process of putting ball joints in, and we're using a vise and a ball joint installer tool. And I just wanted to, there were some things that I missed while I was up there that I wanted to show you here. Okay, so first things first is that you saw where we had to take the old inner pieces of these bushings off the shafts. Okay, and you see how these are all the way to the end. You can see the grease that we used, the axle grease, and I can't stress that anymore. Grease on the inner shafts so that, you know, keep it from squeaking. Because nothing's more annoying than whenever you have an old car, okay? The other thing is that these bushings were put in basically with a sleeve and a flat plate and a hammer. That's all it took. There was no press involved in these, and we still had to put the ball joints in, but they've just bolt in now after grinding all them off. But maybe this is a better view. As you can just see, they just use a little axle grease and just press them on. We pressed the first one on, and then we just took like I said, took a sleeve, and you remember, you have to sleeve on this edge right here. Not on the rubber, you got to go on this metal edge. So you have to find a sleeve to fit that with the flat plates with a hammer, and it'll just seat itself. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. This was a lot simpler than I thought it was going to be. And what made that possible was this kit. While you're here, smash that like button. Just smash it. It's down here somewhere. Smash that like button, and it helps the channel. And what made all this possible with this kit that my son has, and he apparently got it from O'Reilly's in California before he came home. Maddox ball joint servicing kit, and this thing saved our bacon in I don't know how many ways you could think of, because this has all the sleeves that you have to go over and then hammer it home. I mean, like I said, you have to do it on the metal part and not the rubber. Never hammer on these. You saw that in the video. You don't ever do that. You don't ever hammer on the threaded end of the shafts, okay? And the ball joints, we actually did use the press, but you saw in the earlier part of the video where we were actually doing it with the tool, which you can actually do it in the tool. Now, I would suggest that doing it with the tool, with the sleeves and everything involved, not using the impact, but it's a two-man job. One man to hold it, because these are so big and bulky that they're cumbersome, okay? So, again, it's just a case of getting the right sleeve over it, so that you can get enough space to where you're not interfering with this, but you can press it from the back side. And let me see what else. Same thing with these. We thought we were going to have to press and do something weird stuff and everything, but we didn't have to, because it just sticked right in. As you can see, they just seated right up. And that was the same thing. We just used a sleeve and a flat bar. We pressed the first one in, and then we put the shaft in through the hole, put the bushing on. Again, axle grease on both. Okay, remember, axle grease on both. All right, so it won't squeak. And then we just drifted it home with a hammer. It was that simple with using a vise. And remember, on these, you have to use your spacer. Okay, and that socket just happened to be the perfect width. And axle grease on everything, slid it right in, boom, beautiful. All right. Oh, and yes, this is a lot of work. This is not just a simple weekender. This is going to be, you're going to be sweating. It took me a week of cleaning to get these parts cleaned up after 45 plus years of dirt and grime and grit and rust. And yeah, they were nasty. So how do you decide how much you're going to take off? So it's always been, this has been happening since I was a teenager, or way before I was a teenager. So if you're going to take some coil off, how much do you take off? Okay, so like these coils are actually 14 inches tall from here to here. They're both the same, all right? And if you measure around the coil, because of the way it's done, they kind of got this little to it, which I'm almost thinking they got heated, but, you know, I'm not quite sure. But to take and half an inch off is actually 3/4 of a coil. Now, so by the measurements off the table, that's only a half an inch. 3/4 of a coil is only half an inch. And I just wanted to give a little bit more stance, not a lot, because back in the day, and half an inch meant an inch. A full coil meant 2 inches once you put weight back on it. So if you hadn't been heated, hadn't been messed with. So I'm going to go 3/4 of an inch, 3/4 of a coil. As you can tell, there's the end. That's my cut line. And we're going to hope for an inch. See what happens. All right, we got a mark. I'm hoping that's only if you measure it, it's only 1/2 inch, but I'm hoping the old adage is 1/2 inch equals an inch, what you put weight on it. So I'm looking to drop an inch. We're just going to use the cutoff wheel, and we're just going to zip this off. And you don't want no sharp edges, so you just and that's how you do that. And we'll just put the second one up here. We'll cut it the same way. And I just got it in the vise just with one coil to hold it. And then we're going to go into the blaster and we're going to blast this clean and paint it. So even in the Chilton book, it doesn't tell you how to do this. Doesn't make any sense to me, but we got it done. It took 3 of us to do it. But I mean, we got a good visit in. It was a lot of fun. And you know, we enjoy each other's company, and so now it's time to put stuff together. A little bit more cleaning, but now it's time to put stuff together. So stay tuned for that one. That'll be coming up soon. Y'all have a great day. Because a great day today can be a rebuilt front end suspension on your Silverado or GMC Sierra tomorrow. Y'all be good.